not told his wife, and told Hugh Jackson only in the last 48 hours. We got 4.5 minutes left on the clock here, and what is it, Dorsey just waiting to see if the phone does ring for that proverbial offer he cannot refuse?
Yeah, the cynic in me thinks television may have something to do with this. Look, the teams that I've worked with, I've been the guy that's on the phone. So you're in the office on the phone with these guys back here, and I've been instructed, don't turn the pick in until there's 30 seconds left. I want them to talk about it. So hopefully they say some good things. Is that right? Honest truth. Yeah. And then if it starts going negative, put the pick in. Get the pick in. You know, if we're going to take this Browns discussion to another level, let's assume they're taking a quarterback at 1, whichever one, okay? Number 2 could be Barkley. Number 3 is another quarterback. So at 4, if they get Bradley Chubb, I've heard a lot of people say, why would they take him when they took Myles Garrett a year ago? This is an exciting pick if they get Bradley Chubb. You pair him with Myles Garrett. You've got a guy named Emmanuel Ogbah, who's a really good pass rusher also. You've got Carl Nassib, who has the versatility of playing inside-outside, and you're building a sub-package front that's going to go hunt quarterbacks. Coach mentioned Greg Williams is really aggressive, and trust me, folks, if you're a Cleveland Brown fan, this defense is better than people think. They're ready to win now on defense.
All right, 3 minutes to go now until we get the Browns pick revealed finally. Steve Mariucci on our outside set. What are you thinking, brother?
You know, I worked with both of these guys before. John Dorsey in Green Bay. I was a coach. He was a scout. And I know he can keep a secret, okay? I don't know why he's using up the entire 10 minutes, but I also worked with Hugh Jackson. He was my offensive coordinator at the University of California. And we ran the West Coast offense, and now he's tweaked that offense since then. But I know he wants a smart guy, and he wants a guy with some mobility. He likes to move the pocket, change the launch point, Troy, because he doesn't want to go back in the pocket all day long. Movement, play action, heat, those kinds of things. Does that eliminate some of these guys? Does it say Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold? Those are the kind of athletic quarterbacks I know he likes.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say, this is going to be the Wild Wild West. So why not just get it started? Take a quarterback at number 1, and then go to number 4 and take another quarterback and see if you can grab 2 more picks. Say Buffalo with 12 and 22. Or New England, who has 2 picks. Go ahead and call me. I got what you need. Let me go ahead and go shop with a Hall of Famers credit card.
Well, I think if you look at the quarterbacks in this draft, all of them come into this draft and haven't been coached up all that hard. You talk about Hugh Jackson in Cleveland. They also have Todd Haley, who's going to be in his first year as offensive coordinator. He's done a great job at every stop that he has been, most recently in Pittsburgh. I can assure you, whichever quarterback lands there, he's going to be coached up and he's going to be coached well.
Well, the pick is in, guys. As a matter of fact, the Giants are already on the clock and have been for a minute, so they already have the information. And phone lines are ringing, and Hugh Jackson is currently strolling around inside the Berea, Ohio Browns war room shown by Honda. If it is Darnold, then the Giants might get Barkley and be open for business for another quarterback. If it is Mayfield, the roof will be torn off of this building, and all sorts of phone rings in New Jersey with the Giants will happen. But it's time to get the first pick of the 2018 draft. Here is the commissioner to make the announcement.
With the first pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Baker Mayfield.
Wow. Are you serious? Baker Mayfield to the Browns.
Baker Mayfield, quarterback, the 2017 Heisman Trophy winner.
Oh my word. Baker Mayfield, the Heisman Trophy winner out of Oklahoma, is the first overall pick in this draft. The draft party in Berea, Ohio. Some are cheering, some have hands in pockets. The last quarterback to be less than 6'1" to be drafted first overall, Michael Vick. It has been quite some time. Mike Mayock, I give you the floor as Sam Darnold is now there for the drafting by the Giants, or somebody to come up and get him. It could be the Jets. It could be the Broncos. The Giants might give pause and go ahead and choose that young man out of USC. But first and foremost, your thoughts on Baker Mayfield being the first overall pick in the draft, Mike?
From my perspective, he was the 4 overall quarterback, right? But I know John Dorsey, and from John Dorsey's perspective, John's got a little swag, and he likes swag. He likes confidence. This kid's a competitor. If you're looking at the plus side of him, you know, he's under 6'1". He finds lanes to throw. He's thick in the chest. He's highly accurate. Playmaker. Highly accurate on the move. His character has cut both ways in different buildings with GMs and head coaches I've talked with. Now, when you look at him on the field, there's a lot to like. Against Texas, they'll pump fake, throws open into the secondary, wide open. I like him best, though, when he's on the move. Little fake, play action, plenty of time in the red zone, pulls it down, rolls left, great throw. He throws the wide receiver open to the back line of the end zone. Again, highly accurate. Pump fake, and trust me, he's an athlete. He might not run 4.5. He's an athletic, competitive kid. He's going to light up the locker room. What I don't like is he misses a lot of underneath coverage, especially when the pocket collapses. He never saw the free safety. It was an easy pick. I saw a lot of that when the pocket constricted. However, if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, hey, Troy, they're going to strap it up in Cleveland, baby.
Well, let me tell you, I mean, I'm surprised, to be quite honest with you. His name started surfacing a couple days ago, and I thought it really was a smokescreen. Here's a guy who already has created an upset because he's a walk-on Heisman Trophy winner. Now he can add another upset to his resume as the #1 overall pick. You look at his tape, Mike, and he has a lot of good things working for him. First of all, what stands out is that he has a love for the game. He plays with a great deal of passion and a lot of swagger. And the guy who was last picked in the first round at quarterback for Cleveland was none other than Johnny Manziel. This guy's been compared to him. Baker Mayfield has a much better arm than Johnny Manziel ever thought of having. I know this, the spotlight's not going to be too big for him. There certainly is going to be a lot of expectations. This team has a lot of holes to fill. But I would not be surprised, even though they have said Tyrod Taylor is going to be the starter in 2018, I wouldn't be surprised if Baker Mayfield's not your starter week 1.
Yeah, Troy, these Cleveland Browns, 2 things they haven't done much of lately. Win football games and protect the football. You go out and get Tyrod Taylor, and he was in the playoffs last year. Very low turnovers. You go draft Baker Mayfield, he protects the ball, and he's won a lot of football games. But when I watched him for a comparison, I had to go back. I heard Russell Wilson, I've heard Drew Brees. I saw Jeff Garcia when I watched him. Talk about somebody that's a little bit frenetic. When you watch him in the pocket, very busy, but he throws with excellent accuracy. He can anticipate, he can throw a touch, and when he extends the pocket, he's not looking to run, he's looking to make plays and throw down the field, and that's something that Jeff Garcia had some success with.
Well, Baker Mayfield was the apple, supposedly, of the Jets' eye in the Big Apple. He is now off the board. The Jets are now more than a minute into being on the clock for their pick because the New York Giants have not traded this pick. They have made it. Could it be Sam Darnold? Could it be Saquon Barkley? This is a linchpin pick of the 2018 draft after a stunner of a beginning. Here's the commissioner with the pick of the Giants. And they're booing the Giants. They're booing the Giants. Here we go.
Let's go with that.
With the second pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Saquon Barkley.
Oh no, come on!
So one of the most dynamic running backs we have seen come out of college. He gets a hug from his coach at Penn State, James Franklin. This young man does it all, and he will now be the dynamic running back that, let's be honest, the Giants have rarely ever had. And with Eli Manning under center, and Odell Beckham out wide, Sterling Shepard out wide, Evan Ingram on the line at tight end next to Nate Solder, the protector that they got in free agency. This young man is about to go to the New York Giants and play in New York City and the New York metropolitan area. Wow. Big night for Saquon, a couple of nights after he becomes a newborn dad. Mike?
best football player in this draft. 6 feet, 233 pounds. What I love about what he's going to do for New York, and Rich, you touched on a little bit, he's going to make the quarterback better day one. Eli Manning is a better quarterback when you can take some pressure off him with a run game. You also shorten the game for your defense, so you help your defense, and you also help your offensive line. He's powerful. His lower body is unbelievable. Watch this run against Iowa, USC. Double jump cut, now the cutback. He's breakables everywhere. At 233 pounds, he runs 4.4. Lower body. I want to talk about a powerful man. Watch him run through tackles, and then that 4.4 speed to the edge. You want to play a man-to-man with a safety or running back, forget about it. A little stick-nod route makes it easy for his quarterback. He's got the ability to split wide like a Le'Veon Bell in the pass game. The only thing you can possibly say on the negative side is he tries to make too many big runs and sometimes too many lateral jump cuts, too many negative plays, but that's just frustration. At the end of the day, the New York Giants just got better because of this guy.
And it's time to welcome Saquon Barkley to Primetime, delivered by Pizza Hut. Prime, take it away.
And you're sitting up here shaking your head like it's a moment. You just became a father Tuesday with your daughter, Jada, and now you're the second overall pick going to the New York Giants.
Yeah, it's unbelievable to be able to experience two biggest moments of my life in the same week. I'm so thankful to be able to be a father and have a gorgeous baby, a daughter, Jada, back home, and to be here with the people I love, my mother and father, and cherish this moment.
You're graded one of the best, if not the best, to come out of this year's draft. What should the Giants expect from you?
The Giants should expect a guy who's passionate about the game, who really loves football and a true competitor. And hopefully I can come in there early, be a leader, and try to play as early as possible and do the best that I can.
You believe in Eli?
Yes, sir. I believe in Eli.
You believe in Odell?
I believe in OBJ.
And I'm sure they believe in you. Congratulations.
So Saquon Barkley, you got it. He's a Giant. Troy, your thoughts?
Well, what it tells you right off the bat is that Dave Gettleman did not believe that any of the quarterbacks left on the board were a franchise quarterback. And so now you look at Saquon Barkley and what he brings. This Giants offense has not had a top 15 rushing attack, but one in the last 7 years. So a 37-year-old quarterback, he certainly helps that offense. They brought in a couple of offensive line. They still need to get better up there if they're going to truly take advantage of this young man's abilities. But I like that he's a three-down back. We saw some of the things that he's able to do as a receiver. He's a good blocker. I agree with Mike Mayock, #1 player in the draft, great pick.
And he goes to the Giants, 2nd overall, the Honda War Room cam presented by Honda, showing Dave Gettleman on the right there. There's Steve Tisch next to John Mara, the Giants draft party. They are just ecstatic. They cannot believe their good fortune. That young man wearing number 13 is also personifying, in a way, Odell Beckham's excitement. He just tweeted out moments ago that Saquon Barkley is in the backfield with Odell Beckham out wide. Eli Manning just got himself a heck of an offensive weapon with Nate Solder to come upright. I mean, the Giants have made some interesting moves. Coach Shaw, your thoughts on those?
You know, I think about what Terrell Davis did for John Elway late in his career. You know, you've got a running game, you've got guys to throw the ball to, and Mike mentioned earlier, shorten the game and have a big impact guy. But you think about what Ezekiel Elliott did to the Dallas Cowboys. This guy, in 4 games, he broke 27 tackles. He broke 27 tackles in 4 games. So some of those handoffs that the Giants would be getting 3 and 4 yards on, someone's going to go for 60. This guy's special, and automatically for me, this team's a contender.
Meanwhile, the Jets have 3.5 minutes left on the clock for them, and when they moved up from 6 to 3, Mike McCaffrey making that move after not acquiring Kirk Cousins in free agency, making that trade with the Indianapolis Colts. As you can see, he's not pictured, but looks like shaking hands toward the top of the screen there, and the Honda War Room cam showing what's going on with the Jets. Pick should be in shortly. I don't know if when McCaffrey made that trade with Chris Ballard, he would have thought in a million years he would have a choice between Darnold, Rosen, and Allen, 3rd overall. What do you think they're discussing or just celebrating in that war room, Mike?
Yeah, and they moved from 6 to 3, and they have to understand the possibility that they could be picking the 3rd quarterback. What happens instead is they have the opportunity to pick perhaps the #1 quarterback on most people's boards, Sam Darnold, and that's who I expect the pick to be. It was an aggressive move to make really a blind trade. You never see that, to go up to number 3, not knowing who you're going to get at that point in time. It looks like it could work out absolutely perfect for him. One thing about this division, though, the AFC East, Tom Brady's not going to play forever. And a lot of these teams are in the quarterback market this draft. Which team gets it right tonight could go a long way and decide the next decade in that division.
Yeah, and the Bills with 2 first-round selections have been heavily rumored to be coming up maybe at 5 with Denver. Maybe Chris Ballard wants to keep moving back at 6. They make a trade to go there at 6 if Allen or Rosen is the apple of their eye. There's also Lamar Jackson sitting out there, Mason Rudolph, the quarterback sitting out there, but Darnold might be the name we hear next, Mike.
Look, at the end of the day, they gave up a whole lot, but it doesn't matter if the kid can play who they're about to announce, and I really believe it's Sam Darnold.
Okay, here comes the commissioner with the Jets pick. The last time and only other time they chose a quarterback in the top 5 was a USC quarterback in Mark Sanchez. Could it be deja vu all over again?
With the 3rd pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Sam Darnold, quarterback, USC.
So there he is, 20 years old. In other words, almost half the age of Josh McCown, going up the steps and adding his name with Teddy Bridgewater to the Jets draft quarterback room. The 3rd overall pick in the draft is Sam Darnold out of USC.
And I've got to be honest with you. I think the Jets have hit a quarterback that can play early. But the beauty of the situation right now with the Jets is because they re-signed Josh McCown. They can play him when he's ready to play. It's a little bit like Carson Wentz a couple of years ago with the Eagles. They had Sam Bradford. If it took him a year, it was okay. If it took him 8 games, it was okay. If the kid's ready week 1, it's okay. But it's going to be on his schedule. Now, he's 6'3.5", 221 pounds. He's the consummate playmaker. He keeps his eyes up to extend the plays. The only downside, ball security is an issue. Not just interceptions, but in the pocket with fumbles. Now, let's take a peek at him at USC. I love when he extends the play. He's looking left. He feels it back right, though. Steps up into the pocket. Look at the eyes. Stay up. Now throw him open on the back line of the end zone. That is a beautiful throw into a tight window. Play action on the run. Highly accurate on the run. Great throw. Touchdown. And again, is he an athlete? Scored 20-plus points a game in high school basketball. 3-sport star. He can beat you with his legs. The downside, ball security in the pocket. Way too loose. Now, when that ball gets kicked out in the pocket like this, he's got to clean it up. And the way I look at this, Troy Aikman, you and I are on the same page. We think that this kid's the best quarterback in the draft. And I ask you as a former quarterback, I think you can clean up some of those issues mechanically in the pocket with the football. Do you agree?
I do agree. Let me say this, Mike, that what's interesting about the New York Jets, they gave up a lot, as we know, to move up 3 spots into that number 3 position, and it very easily could have turned out that they got the 3rd best quarterback. I think, and we'll never know for certain, but most teams had Sam Darnold picked as their number 1 guy, and I'm not so sure that the Jets didn't get the guy that they would have taken had they have been the number 1 pick. As far as Sam Darnold, he does. He checks all the boxes. He's big. He's able to make plays outside the pocket. You look at his tape and the things that he's able to do. There's some of the creativity that he has. In fact, I think some of his best throws came when he was on the move. I see him working the pocket right there and then finding the receiver down the field. He's spent a lot of time this offseason working on his throwing motion. Jordan Palmer, his quarterback coach this offseason, tightened things up. His pro day was outstanding. He threw in the rain. He'll have some of those conditions when he's with the New York Jets. You talk about the turnovers, those were problematic. He had 22 turnovers just this past season in 13 games alone. I believe that those are things that can be coached out of a young player, and I expect that to happen with Jeremy Bates as his offensive coordinator.
And Troy, 2 quarterbacks early in their NFL career that had issues with fumbles, Andrew Luck and Russell Wilson. You live with some of that because you've got the playmaking to go with it, and he's got to continue to improve in that area. I think Sam Darnold will. And Rich, this guy's wired the right way to handle New York. I was in the stadium in that Rose Bowl against Penn State. He throws that touchdown to tie the game, and he was like this the criticism's not going to bother him in New York.
Darnold is the 5th USC quarterback in the common draft era to be selected in the first round. In 1991, the Raiders took Todd Marinovich, 24th overall. The Bengals took Carson Palmer first in 2003. Then another USC Heisman Trophy winner, Matt Leinart, 10th overall in 2009. And again, the only other time the Jets chose a quarterback in the top 5 in the common draft era, Mark Sanchez, 5th in 2009. Sam Darnold is the highest drafted quarterback by the New York Jets since Joe Namath went first overall in the 1965 AFL.